controls. It's a lot of rules on what you can and cannot do. And they're very vindictive when you break those rules. They can kick you off committees or deny you the committee you want to be on. They can move your office down to the basement. And some of these offices, trust me, they are just closets. I've seen them. They can find a primary opponent to run against you and make sure that nobody donates to you. They can also go to every consultant in town and say, hey, don't you dare work for this guy. You're never going to work for anybody on our side ever again. They will crack down on you very hard. And their number one rule is you do not help anybody who is challenging an incumbent Republican.
Right.
Drain the swamp.
Now, I can tell you, I've been with Joe quite a lot of different places around the country, and we've run into a lot of Republican congressmen and congresswomen. And Joe will tell you, they'll come up to Joe and say, hey, I really wish you a lot of luck. I'm a big fan, I'm a big supporter. And they should be. We all know how awful Liz Cheney is, right? Oh. The whole country knows how bad she is. But she's got nothing on Jamie Herrera Butler.
That's right.
Jamie Herrera Butler didn't just vote for impeachment and the January 6th Commission. She volunteered to be their star witness.
Yep.
She's a fraud. And even before that, if you look at the voting records, Cheney has some bad votes, but Jamie has a lot of bad votes, a much worse voting record. And yet, all of these congressmen that we speak to are in private say, yeah, Joe, we're really rooting for you. We really hope you win. I'm the one that makes the ask, right? I'm the bad guy. Say, okay, how about an endorsement? And then we never hear from them again.
Right.
Now, you can say this is a matter of courage, a lack of courage. I think it's actually something worse than that. For them, their priority is a will to power. Because they believe, oh, maybe I'm a conservative, maybe I really do like Joe, but I have to play by the rules, so someday I'll get in a position of leadership and I'll be able to...
Big old spider. Got your back, Matt Braynard.
But the reality is that it's not really solely a matter of courage, it's a matter of them having more than anything else a will to power. They believe if they just play by the rules and they play nice, they'll eventually get into leadership, and that's when they're going to make a difference. That's when they're going to support people like Joe Kent. The problem is the further they advance along that line of thinking, the more restrictions they discover they have, the more people they realize they piss off if they do the wrong thing or do the right thing. So we have had which is unprecedented, two great men in Congress step forward and endorse our candidate. And by the way, now that we have Donald Trump's endorsement, these guys actually have a little bit more cover.
Is he going to come?
Come
on!
Not today, but look, hey, and honestly, I'm not criticizing anybody for doing the calculation. I think that we're going to actually continue to get more endorsements as people learn more about Joe because of the endorsement, okay? I'm not calling anybody a bad guy, but we do need to applaud the people who do the right thing and do it early when it makes a difference.
Yeah. That's right.
And those two people, Congressman Paul Gosar of Arizona, and the guy I'm going to let speak next, the original Florida. Oh, before I introduce them, can we get a round of applause for the newlyweds? All right. The original gangster Florida man, Matt
Gaetz. This gathering's got a special vibe that kind of reminds me of when I was first campaigning in a primary. And there's always that core group of people that you've got to rely on to write the checks, to make the phone calls, to wave on the side of the road. And that is the rock upon which you build a successful campaign. And so thanks for being here up front for Joe when it matters, ensuring that we're the campaign with the momentum and with the ultimate path to victory. I'm here because I love this country. I know there's a lot in the media and with the celebrity class and the elite class where it's all the rage to be down on America, to say that we're this intractably racist country, that we have to be so obsessed with our flaws and our grievances, that we can't love one another and root for the success of our fellow Americans. And I see that every day in Washington. And it's not just one party or the other. I feel like the establishment in both parties works for their own advancement, and they are willing to oversee a managed American decline. And we're not here for that. And that's what Donald Trump showed us. We don't have to be here for that. We can be an America that is patriotic and forward-leaning. We can make stuff. We can be productive. And we don't have to apologize for the fact that the world is a better place when America is the strongest country in the world. And what I can tell you is that there is a battle going on right now for the soul of the Republican Party. And while all out in the country, in places like this, in backyard barbecues, at pool parties in Florida, in the deserts of Arizona where they're fighting for election integrity, all over this country, there are more of us than there are of them. You know, people who actually believe that we're a stronger nation when we're focused on building our country, not giving foreign aid to countries that hate us. Who understand that our trade deals have to be for the betterment of our workers, not the elites that want to profiteer off of exporting American jobs and hollowing out the communities in our country. And especially this debate is about the border and immigration, because we have far too many Republicans who are just shills for big business, and they want illegal immigration to suppress the wages of American workers. And in Washington, D.C., the establishment, they've chosen their champions. They have the Liz Cheneys and the Adam Kinzingers and the Jamie Herrera Butlers, but I like the crew I roll with, the Donald Trumps, the Marjorie Taylor Greenes, and one day, Congressman Joe Kent. So the Eastern Front in this battle is probably in Washington, where we need more people with courage who don't just put themselves forward to serve in Congress so they can have a big staff and stare at their nameplate and have everyone call them sir and chase them around with their bags and their cell phones. We need people who will actually put themselves on the line. We needed that during impeachment. When I saw the deep state and the establishment try to take out Donald Trump, first they couldn't beat him at the ballot box in 2016, so they tried impeachment in the witness box, and when that didn't work, they ran to the mailbox. This is the first time in American history where the mailbox actually beat the ballot box.
That's right.
And so if we want our borders to have integrity, if we want our foreign policy to be more focused, our elections must have integrity, and we need a Republican fighting class that will actually battle on the issue of election integrity. Too many of my colleagues, they say, oh, well, the corporations might not like us as much if we say that we've actually got to do these audits. And, oh, well, we might make the wrong people upset that we're trying to deprive a certain class of people the opportunity to vote if we demand an ID as a part of the voting process. My friends, if we surrender on this fight, everything else we do ceases to matter.
That's right.
Because we had the better candidate in the last election.
Right.
We had the better message. We had a motivated country. Joe Biden was hanging out in a Delaware basement. They thought a rally. We got more cars parked out on that street right now than Joe Biden. So don't tell me that there were more people in like inner city Detroit motivated to vote for Joe Biden than for Barack Obama. That is a laughable proposition. And the Republicans who shy away from this, they are no use to us in the battle that we are in right now. We need people that'll take that battle on. And as I've looked around the country, there is no campaign more significant to shaping the Republican Party than this campaign we have in Washington's 3rd District. And so I appreciate you being a part of the bedrock of this movement. We're going to be back a lot. Based on my recent conversations with Donald Trump, I would not be surprised if Trump Force One were flying over the skies in this area. I'm for him. Trump's for him. You're for him. You're next, Congressman Joe Kent.
Thank you all so much for being out here. Thanks to our hosts. Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you very much for spending your honeymoon out here with us here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm glad the weather cooperated. So welcome to the Northwest, and thank all of you for being part of this movement, because that's really what this is all about. It's not about one personality. It's not necessarily even about winning an election and proving a point. It's about taking our country back. We can see what the left has been doing, what they've been doing in lockstep with major corporations, with mainstream media, with the technocrats that essentially run our society right now. They're trying to take away absolutely everything that makes this country great, everything that made me as a young kid growing up in Portland want to join the military and go fight for this country. And it's really betraying everything that is this country. The amount of control that the government and the establishment has taken with these lockdowns, the amount of lies they've told with this last election, the amount of lies they've told with the origins of COVID, January 6th, just the list goes on. It's getting shoved down our throat every day. And if we dare dissent, they label us as insurrectionists and threaten to turn the tools of the state on us. We all see exactly where this is going. And the time to stand up and to fight is now. And all of you are part of this. We're standing up and we're fighting with all these protests that are going on right now against the decrees of our tyrant Jay Inslee to mask our children, to vaccinate our children, that we have to show our papers in order to keep our jobs. We know it's unconstitutional. We're fighting back. In order to really take this country back, we have to continue to reach out to everybody that has been demotivated, disenfranchised, however you want to put it, and let them know that there is hope, that we can take our country back, because we don't have to rely on these feckless Republicans any longer. People like Jamie Herrera Butler for decades now have been guilting us and saying, like, hey, the only way that you can fight back is for voting Republican, because if you vote for a Democrat, then you can see which direction that's going, so we're your only hope. You owe us the vote. And they've really been very successful on that. They come and they complain when they're in the minority about whatever the Democrats are doing. We give them our money, we give them our time, we give them our vote. They get into power. A guy like Donald Trump slips through, and we actually have an America First president. For the first 2 years, we have control of the House, we have control of the Senate. And what happens? Republicans like Liz Cheney, Jamie Herrera Butler prevent Trump from building a wall, prevent us from ending our endless wars, do everything they can to keep the corporate interest from keep the corporate interest shipping our jobs overseas, and to stop Donald Trump from putting in protectionist trade policies to benefit the American people. And then we lose the House, we lose the Senate, and we get put in this position where we have this COVID crisis and no one's willing to speak out. And they send out these mass unsolicited mail-in ballots and these crazy Dominion tabulation machines, and our election's stolen from right out from underneath us. And we all see what's happening right now. But the great thing is, what Trump showed us, what America First candidates have shown us, who've actually had the courage to lead, like Matt Gaetz, have said, hey, we don't have to go with the corporate PAC money. We don't have to go with the big establishment. We can actually start fighting back and standing up. So when Jamie cast her vote for impeachment, I know, like all of you, I was disgusted. But seeing the way that our country was being taken away from us, I knew it was time to stand up. So I had didn't have any intentions of ever running for office before. So going from where I was in February, Googling how do I run for Congress, finally to being here right now and having Matt Gaetz out here and having Donald Trump. That's thanks to all of you, and I can't thank you enough. And with your continued support, I know we're going to take this country back. I can feel it. The establishment can feel it. They're scared right now. They're in defense. They are in defense right now. You can see all of our institutions right now. They are like a wounded animal. And that's when they're the most dangerous, but that's because they're bleeding out. What's happened in the last 2 weeks in Afghanistan, that's the military-industrial complex bleeding out, that's the mainstream media bleeding out, and that is the Democrat political machine all bleeding out. They're wounded. They're bleeding out capital. Biden's bleeding out political capital every day with the audits. So we just have to stay steady, stay motivated, keep reaching out to everyone in our social networks, keep pushing the message that we can take our country back. I can't thank all of you enough for being out here. Thank you.